Good morning, happy Thursday. This chapter of Andrew and the Magic Giveash ometer is called Dear Grandmama. This is a little look at some family. So, in September 1982, I was 16 years old. My mother Margaret had just died of a hideous brain tumour. My dad had left to live with someone else's family, and I'd just come to the end of a period of living on Vesta meals in a council flat with my auntie Janet, who was recently divorced, had 3 children and very little money. God bless you, Janet, wherever you are, and had moved into the local YMCA. My brother and sister were living with my alcoholic dad, who'd moved back to our former council house in Prestbury, just a stone's throw from Cheltenham Racecourse, and where he was in a long-term relationship with his soon-to-be second wife and her two teenage daughters. I came back from time to time, but it was a miserable time, and this new family lineup was even more dysfunctional than the previous one. As we stand now, I have not spoken to my father, brother, or my sister for years. The pain is just too much, and we have never really recovered, and the memories just flatly refuse to fade. Talking of family, we have a large selection of crazy people in the White House tribe, and an equally disturbing number of additional fruitcakes in the McKnight family. That's my mother's side of the family. But the White Houses are special. My paternal grandfather, Ken, served in Burma in the Second World War and, from what I can gather, came back a broken man with something akin to PTSD, only to find that his wife, my paternal grandmother, had, to quote my Uncle Terry, Dad's oldest brother, slept with half the American army. Indeed, Terry once told me how he had taken them up tea in bed, where there she would be, lying with one bosom out of the sheets, staring at her oldest son like a one-eyed monster. On discovering this, Grandad Ken promptly disappeared, never to be seen by many of my family ever again. My understanding that his life ended in the late 70s in a bedsit in Wolverhampton surrounded by whisky bottles. Meanwhile, Marlene, his wife, my grandmother, dropped off my dad, her youngest son, into the Royal Artillery sometime in 1954. Then she disappeared too. Marlene returned to the fold in 1976, casually announcing her return over the phone to my mother. My dad was excited beyond belief. After 22 years, he had a mother again. She wormed her way into the family quite seamlessly, and although not everybody fell for her charm. Uncle Colin, the middle brother of the 3 White House sons, rejected her, saying, as far as I'm concerned, my mother died 22 years ago. This had quite shocking ramifications, as this caused Marlene to refuse to speak to my little sister, Sarah, who, by the way, up to this point had only had positive grandmother experiences. Why would Marlene not speak to my sister? Because she had Colin's eyes. Needless to say, the whole Marlene thing never really worked out, although I know that my dad stayed in touch with her, and from what I can gather, their relationship brought him quite a few challenges. But what could he do? She was his mother, after all. Thank you for listening. It's been great to see you today, and we'll do a little bit more tomorrow. Tomorrow the chapter is, the Belfast connection. So looking forward to talking to you about that one. See you later, friends.